Hello traders, Damien here. I felt compelled to answer this post in a form of a little short video because I've been getting a lot of private messages about rotation and why I consider a lot of these rotations to be weak and I don't take them, and why I get some really great rotations that I also pass up on because they either occur outside of my area of interest or because they don't offer the right risk reward profile for my trade. And that's the reason why I don't take those ones that occur outside of the areas of interest, because they don't offer a good risk reward profile for my trade. Okay, now the ones that do occur within the area of interest, within areas of support, are just not strong enough. Why I pass up on those, and I'm going to tell you those reasons now. I also wanted to make this video because I made a very specific post about the bears being able to come in somewhere around 560 to 565, and they came in at 563. I'll show you the post, and then I'll tell you the reasons why I said that, and it ties into the situational awareness and it ties into order flow, which is kind of a follow-up to the little video, to the big video I made yesterday. But let's talk about the rotation first. I understand this may be a strong signal to most people. Price came down. There was a lot of rejection in the candle, 100% rejection, and the candle closed bullish. Okay? But what does this candle tell me that it doesn't tell all those people that think this is a very bullish and strong signal? It tells me that in an area of support, when you have an area of support, price is not supposed to keep selling there. Price is not supposed to have the majority of the volume of that candle to be a selling in a selling position, as this candle was. True, the buyers came back and were stronger than the sellers to push them back, reject the candle, and close at a high. But the fact that there were so many people still here willing to continue to sell or to push price lower, okay, it's a big red flag for me that signifies weakness. Okay, now I know that the candlestick patterns see this as a hammer or a pin bar or whatever you want to call it, and that's extremely bullish, man. That's a candle that I would take any time. To me, that signifies that, you know, there's still enough of a selling interest in this area, and they were still strong enough to keep selling in that area, and the buyers had to overcome that and push back. Okay, that takes some strength away from the buyers. That takes some intent away from them. That also creates a lot of the people that are still on the sidelines wondering whether they should buy in here, to say, hold on, I need more information. At least the people that are into price action trading. Okay, there were still enough sellers here that they were not able to hold on to the candle. They were rejected, but still not enough for me to say that is a strong buy signal. Furthermore, one of my requirements is that the candle is not trade significantly below the previous candle, and this one traded almost all of its volume below the previous candle. My other requirement is that the candle holds half of its overall volume and takes out the previous half of the previous candle. So although it held all of its volume, it's still considered an inside candle, even though it traded below. It still barely held on to half of the previous volume's candle, but there was a lot of selling here. There was a lot of weakness here on the buyer. So there are buyers here, but they're just not strong enough. And the next candle proved to be somewhat of a good candle, but still the buyers were able to come back in at the level of immediate structure, as for whatever reason they might have smelled the weakness here. Who knows? The point is, where there's weakness, it is harder for price to find continuation, and there was weakness here, so it's harder for price to find continuation. Now the market came up to this general area, then we had a better rotation to the downside. Notice this candle did not trade higher than the previous candle whatsoever. It immediately got bullish, okay, came down to about here. The buyers were able to push it back a little, held half of its volume, took out half of the previous volume. This is a decent rotation to the downside. Okay, should have this candle occurred if there was any strength to this or this? No, sir. So then you have what? The market produced a short-term failure to make a new structure high, short-term new structure low. This is the main swing. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. We don't care about this right now. This is a huge monster swing. And price came down, increased momentum, and projected to the downside. But look at what happens when you do have a good rotation, when you do have strength in that rotation. Look at this candle. This is as strong as it can get when you compare it to this one. Even stronger when you compare it to this one. Why? Because this candle at least tried to trade above its open. This one did not. Was 100% closed at 100% of this low. Think about the amount of strength that the buyers had to come in here to not only prevent the candle from barely trading below its open, but to come back, okay, and completely obliterate this candle and have very little rejection. It took a lot more strength to produce this than it did to produce this. And when you compare and contrast this candle to this candle, this is a weak rotation. When you compare this candle to this candle, this is a stronger rotation. I didn't take this signal for a couple of reasons. One, it was close to the ending of my session. I did not like how price accelerated here. I did not like the volume here. The volume here in this second AB equals CD, or 1-to-1, whatever you want to call it. As you can see here, there's more volume. There's stronger candles, stronger decisions into this general area. Okay, and this rotation, although good, still was not one that I wanted to participate in. Okay, so then price came up here. Okay, and as you can see, I'll bring in my post now. It says it would not be unreasonable to see the bears come in between 560 to 565. I already see sellers on the chart. That would be against expectations though, so be careful. Look at this candles here. Okay, that is the same as these candles here. Okay, so as we can see, all of these candles at some point tried to trade below their open. Okay, tried to trade below the open, and although price was making decisions here and holding most of the volume, then we run into problems when we get into here, this minor structure level. The bears came in. The bears were able to rotate to the downside here. Okay, now this is not a trade that I would have looked to get short on. Why? Well, because we had good rotation here, does not offer a good risk-reward profile, as I need to consider that there are buyers here. Okay, so, and then the buyers came back in immediately. But you can see we still have that selling pressure, selling pressure. These candles are getting weaker. So when I look at my situational awareness, I see this 1-to-1 to the downside. I see, where does the 618 of that fall in? Because if I was trading this long, I would be at break even here, and I would look to take profit here. That is 565. Is there any structure here? Yes. Look across. Okay. So I drew this line, and then I looked to say, okay, well, where did the sellers come in? The sellers came in here. Okay, and there is a area here of support, small support. We see we have an area here where price tried to find resistance. Okay, so you have to take it as a zone and say, well, what zone are we looking at here? We're looking at 561. We're looking at even stronger at 565. So let's use 560 to 565 as an area that the sellers may be interested in coming in. Why? Because they've already demonstrated that they're still what? Here, present, wanting to take price lower. Okay, now the buyers came up here and produced a very nice selling candle. Okay, and then the sellers came in here, and then what happened here? Okay, if we would have gotten short here, it would have presented you an opportunity to have some options. Okay, but the play was never to go short. The play was to get long. So the fact that you are looking for price to come back into this, you see the weakness here. Had you missed this, you're saying, okay, I may get an opportunity to participate long here, but what do I need to see? I need to see that good rotation. Okay, and now as price comes down, as we can see the decisions here, we have weak rotation, right? Here we don't have a rotation, we just have an interest here. Rotation actually happens on 2 candles versus 1. What does that tell you? Weakness. Okay. Next candle tells you what? There's buyers here, right? Price is coming up. So there's still buyers here that are willing to try to take price higher. Okay. Now the market comes down, produces a nice candle, comes down here. This candle tries to what? Buy again. So we come to see where the sellers were here, they got pushed back. We're starting to see that buyers are in this area now. Okay. And the bears are struggling what? To take price lower. Okay, so is this a good rotation? It falls back to this. Okay, the candle does barely try to trade below its open, which is good. Okay, does hold at least half of its volume. But when you compare this candle to this candle, it's a strong or weak. Very weak, right? The next candle is not very all that impressive either, okay? And it's not until here where we get a good, finally we say, okay, this is a good volume candle. Does it mean anything? Maybe, maybe not. But the sellers smelled weakness here, okay? And we're able to rotate back down and push down here. Now we can see as price comes here and produces a beautiful rotation candle here. This is a whole different signal when you compare this to this than when you compare this to this. I hope you guys can see that, because there's tremendous value in understanding good rotation versus weak rotation, okay? And understanding the general flow, where there's sellers, where there's buyers, and what areas, because there are sellers that are willing to sell here, what area they're going to defend more aggressively. The area that structurally looks stronger. The area that has been sold off stronger. The area that left a footprint on the chart, okay? Very important that you guys understand that, okay? And the expectation here was nothing more than an overall new structure high. This was nothing more than complex corrections from this monster swing up, okay? Now initially I had drawn a fib here just from a short-term order flow perspective, but the clear high and clear low is just here, and price came back to almost a 50, produced a 1-to-1. As you can see also, there are other harmonics here that are, you can use that short-term order flow to help you identify these areas as to where the bears are likely to come in, because the market seeks symmetry. Where the buyers are likely to come in, the market seeks symmetry, okay? And because of that, then we have an understanding of where our areas of interest lie based on these shorter term harmonics and the structure and the order flow expectation. Okay, so that's all I have here, but I wanted you to see the importance of weak rotation versus strong rotation, having the situational awareness that because there are sellers here, because the market displayed some degree of strength here, and there still remain sellers here, that the sellers are likely to defend what? The area structure that's most prominent on the chart in the close proximity to this. That is this area right here, the zone. Okay? And because of that, we have to be prepared that if we were long here and we see this, we have to be ready to what? Defend or take profit here. Okay? Protect our trade. Okay? And if we get taken out, we get taken out. It doesn't necessarily mean what? That we want to get short here into a new structure low. Because at the end of the day, what's happening here? If that was the case, price would have found resistance here, okay, at the short-term structure area, and price would have what? Continued on down to another new structure low. Instead, we had a 100% correction. What does that mean? It means weakness on the bears. They should not have allowed that. It is unreasonable to expect price to come down and make another new structure low, although it can do that, but it's an unreasonable expectation. And now we have the shorter term aligning itself with the longer term and the overall expectation. And the market does what? Now, forgive this bar. This is just my computer was in sleep mode, and when I come back and it turns on, it just produces this huge, gigantic candle. Let me just reload the order of historical data real quick so you guys can appreciate that, and then you guys can, we'll call it a day here in the video. I may have a, no, never mind. This is going to take a little bit of load. I have a lot of days that I load for some reason. Okay, so this is what we're talking about here, and the market produced this area here. So again, bringing things forward and projection and harmonics. Where's the market going to come to? Pretty close, right? Pretty close. Now we can extend this. What's the market going to do? Okay, pretty close. The market's accelerating, so it's going to what? It's going to extend a little bit. Okay, the market's going to extend a little bit, so well, you can extend it here, you can project it forward. Here it came a little short, it came in between this harmonic and that harmonic, but could we have used other stuff here? Yes. It's just it's going to fall a little short sometime, a couple of points, 96 to 99. We're talking about 4 points. That's pretty precise to me. Okay, so again, you can use these as a way to project things forward, to understand what the market's working towards, to achieve its overall expectation. This market just continues to climb higher. It doesn't seem to have any signs of wanting to stop, with the exception of the occasional consolidation that happens in these complex corrections, but the market continues on its merry way. So that doesn't mean that we should only look for longs. It just means we need to be vigilant. We need to understand the context of where we're at. We need to understand who's gaining strength, who's giving up strength, align ourselves with the strength, and take trades that are consistent with the order flow that you're looking to trade, okay, and not get caught up in, I'm only going to trade the longer term. Okay, that's great. You know, you may think that the longer term it's more accurate than the shorter term. No, it's all the same thing. Okay, there's always a larger order flow. There's always going to be the same situation. Although when you look at the larger order flow, you have less frequency. Because you have less frequency, it looks like you're more accurate. No, you also have less trades. And in less trades come what appears to be more winners and less losers. The percentages are the same, trust me. Okay, but can your account withstand the larger stops that are required when you trade the larger order flow? Okay, can you take trades blindly, having to set limit orders because these trades may set up when you're not at your computer? Okay, again, it falls back to if the answer is yes, and you need to trade micro lots or mini lots to be able to afford those stops, then is trading to you a business or a hobby? Because you're not going to grow your account, and you're not going to turn this into a business when you're making a losing $2 or $3 per trade. It's going to take you thousands of years to grow your account. So you need to set yourself up with the order flow and with the expectations that are going to help you achieve your goals. And if your goals is to become a full-time trader, a professional trader like me, then you need to stop looking for the easy road, okay, and hold yourself accountable. Make that order flow work for you, okay? Dig in, roll up your sleeves, put in the work that is required to you to master that order flow, okay? And stop trying to find the shortcuts that are going to lead you to maybe successful trading, but no better than where you are now. Okay, it's not going to produce life-changing results unless you can trade that order flow, but have a significant account size that you can trade the lots. Because trading micro lots and mini lots, that's practice. Okay, I understand that most of you are in a position where you may tell yourselves, you know, I don't have the funds. I come from a very poor background, but you know what? You can find money. If you find success in trading, you can find money. There are people that are willing to give you money to trade as long as you can prove to them and yourself that you can be consistently profitable. Okay? But it takes money to make money. Okay? And if that's your only avenue right now, that's fine. But work towards, okay, trading heavier position size. Work towards turning this into your dream business. Work towards finding success. You're going to run into the same problems on the larger order from the longer term order flow than you're going to that you find here. Okay, you're always going to have something larger that you have to contend with. Okay, only you're going to suffer bigger bites. Okay, that's all I have to say. You know, trade when you can be at your computer. Try to get away from that set it and forget it type of mentality. Okay, if the order flow is difficult, dig in. Okay, the more time you practice, the more time you spend on it, the easier it becomes. I assure you. I'm doing this for you guys. Okay, the live streams, I do them for you guys. These videos, I do them for you guys. Not for my benefit. I can do this with my eyes closed. Okay, but I do it for you guys, for your personal growth and development, to help you achieve the success that I have achieved through a very long and painful road that I hope you guys, thanks to me, don't have to go through. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I hope this video had had value to you. I am considering doing an unscheduled live stream on Friday, perhaps, depending on what's going on here in my house. I may go ahead and just do a live stream and still hold the one on February 21st as well, because I wanted to focus on order flow and I want to focus on rotation and harmonics. All right, so that's all I have, and no promises on that live stream on Friday. It's going to depend on a couple of things. I know my housekeeper will be here, and it tends to be a little noisy with her cleaning and stuff, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Thank you very much, and see you in the battlefield tomorrow.